FM presents School of Bionatural Medicine. Are you dealing with menopausal symptoms, chronic pain, or even sleepless nights? School of Bionatural Medicine is a radio program that brings the doctors right to your doorstep. We deal with issues from hormonal imbalances to arthritis, to skin conditions, to menopausal symptoms, to chronic pain management, and so much more. Tell us about your condition and we'll walk the journey with you step by step. Every Wednesday on Wash 94.9 FM from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can also connect with us today on Instagram at School of Bionatural, YouTube at School of Bionatural Medicine, X is at School of Bio and Med, TikTok at School of Bionatural Meds. You can visit our website www.schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk.
Let me say it, let me pour and no go flow. Let me reach, let me beach, the shores of Tripoli. Let me say it, let me crush upon your shoulder. Let me reach, let me beach, far beyond the yellow sea.
Get familiar with this tune, Lagos, Nigeria. It's 3 minutes after 11, the 14th day in the month of May 2025. I welcome you to the very first episode, the pilot episode of Bionatural Medicine, the show where nature meets science, tradition meets innovation, and we explore how to live healthier, more balanced lives just by tapping into the healing power of the natural world. I'm your host with the most, for me to say. I'm Anthony Dalmelda, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be kicking off this pilot episode with a truly special guest, someone at the forefront of, permit me to say, holistic education and natural health practices. And yes, I'm not going to be doing this alone. Once again, welcome to Bionatural Medicine, and joining me today this morning is the CEO of School of Bionatural Medicine United Kingdom, which is also known as the London Bionatural Health and Wellness Clinic. I'll be based in the UK. Their mission reaches far and wide across the globe. That's Dr. Sonny Ahonsi. Good morning to you, Dr. Sonny.
Anthony, I'm glad to be here.
It's a pleasure having you here with us on Wash 94.9 FM on the very pilot episode of Bionatural Medicine here in Nigeria. Thank you for being a part of this, and thank you, of course, for what you do. And in today's conversation, of course, to our dear gentle listener, we want to look into what bionatural medicine really means. That's what we're going to be dedicating today for, how it's transforming lives and why perhaps it may be the future of integrative health. So regardless of your position, wellness enthusiast, maybe a curious skeptic, someone just beginning your healing journey, I want you to be here, be a part of this, broadcast. Regardless of whatever you're dealing with, subsequently on Bionatural Health and Wellness, we're going to be bringing the doctors right to your doorstep here. All right, we're going to be dealing with a lot of issues from hormonal imbalances, just like you heard, arthritis, skin conditions, a lot of it. We'll be talking about them, but perhaps on subsequent episodes. But today, let's get to the nitty-gritty of our conversation. Let's get to know who Dr. Sonny Ahonsi is. And coming to you now, Dr. Sonny, let's get to meet you. Let's get Nigerians familiar with who the CEO of School of Bionatural Medicine UK is.
Okay. Yeah, Anthony, that's an amazing introduction of myself. But what you see, as the saying goes, you give a bird a name by the way they actually perch, right? So I will not overemphasize myself, but I would talk about myself so that people can understand. Well, about almost 40 years ago, I qualified as a chartered certified accountant here in the UK, right? So that's my first qualification. And at that time, there's quite a lot of discriminations and discriminatory practices in terms of employment and everything else. If you have a skin that is not appropriate for the environment. But what did I do? Because I have a zest for education. I like to educate people and create an environment that knowledge and skill are combined together to enable somebody to be empowered in their lifetime. So what have I done? I decided to set up and open one of the biggest private colleges, training and educating accountants, IT professionals, and marketing juntas. This was my journey. And I did that for a period of about 15 years. But in the process, I've traveled the world. I've seen the suffering that many people go through. And at that point in time, I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, the UK government are emphasizing the need for health and wellness professionals. So I went into the healthcare industry, get trained as a health and social care practitioner and leader. Then I went into public health, but in a more recent time, I've gone into not just public health, but also clinical psychology and mental health, which is one of the biggest areas at the moment and concern in the healthcare industry. A lot of people, particularly post-COVID. But my interest was actually more accentuated back in 2011 when I took my son to accident and emergency in London. And we were waiting for a doctor's intervention for over 10 hours. So you can imagine a 5-year-old boy on your lap, groaning, in pain, all night long. That was not a very pleasant situation. So I decided to look into how technology can bring about proximity in terms of doctors and patient UI, user interface. So I'm happy to let you know that, yes, we have developed a technology that can connect a patient to a doctor using your voice, just your voice. Then that technology can give out what is called an indication of what may be happening in your body. Then Fantastic. The doctor can actually focus on specific targeted area of that particular client's condition or patient's condition. So rather than doing subjective analysis in terms of what may be happening, the doctor can have a targeted area of where they need to investigate further in order to bring relief. But the initial relief will come at the press of a button using technology. Hey, Anthony, guess what is actually happening today? Emerging technology and their infusion into healthcare is amazing. And this is the area in which I am specializing, and I'm going to talk about more with School of Bionatural Medicine, how we go for research, education, and consultation of all the various medical conditions. So this is my journey, an accountant moving into health and welfare balance. But over the last 10 years, I've seen how many patients, many, that they come back, they say, Doctor, thank you for looking after me, and this is your flower, this is your gift. But even just a moment they say thank you, you know you have done something remarkable. And this is a journey. And this is the joy of all medical and healthcare practitioners. This is what they enjoy. For the patient just to come back and say, thank you for giving me healthier and happier life in my journey.
First of all, permit me to say, well done, Dr. Sunny. You mentioned something now, just by you're developing a technology by the aid of one's voice, you're able to identify the situation that they might be dealing with. If I didn't get that clearly, is that what you said?
Yes, that's exactly what I said. In fact, this is not surprising right now because with the aid of quantum analysis and sound wave, you'll be able to identify some of all these conditions in human body. People always say, how can you do that? Well, when you travel through the airport, how are they able to scan your body? How are they able to identify that your fingerprint is different from my own fingerprint? This is all part of technology. And very recently, AI has taken over, right? Artificial intelligence, which is machine learning language, is actually helping a lot of medical practitioners right now to be able to identify and reveal medical conditions. Is it surprising that even now today, the National Health Service of the United Kingdom, they're now applying AI to investigative medicine, to investigate the breast cancer condition of over 700,000 women. And that research had just been commissioned. So AI, as Bill Gates said, that AI will bring about enormous amount of transformation in the field of health and wellness. Yes, doctors need this. Yes, AI will not replace doctors, but a doctor who actually understands how AI works will replace a doctor who doesn't understand. So AI is the emerging big field in terms of health, education, travel, and many, many things that we do around the globe in our life journey. Technology infusion into health is one of the ways. But I identified this about 10 years ago, and I went into it, and this is where we are right now. It can only get bigger and better rather than to the contrary.
Brilliant stuff, Dr. Sunny. Brilliant stuff. I think our mission, our objective as well, in some type of way aligned here with us at Watch 94.9 FM, because we also look to ensuring that we continue to educate the public, especially as far as their health is concerned. And it's no brainer that we're having this discussion here in the Staples of Nigeria's Phone Health Radio, Watch 94.9 FM. Thank you so much for clearing that. So I want us to understand what we're looking into, what to expect when we talk about bionatural medicine, before we even get into the school of bionatural medicine, because I was trying to make sense of the topic, or just what we're going to talk about. And I was trying to see, perhaps, maybe, because when we talk about bio, bionatural is a combination of bio and natural. And if you're talking about bio, maybe you're talking about life, you're talking about biology. And natural, you're talking about nature. I don't know. So if we're talking about how we're looking at natural approaches to health, aligning with body's natural systems, so we can understand better, instead of having to try to put two and two together, crossing our T's and dotting our I's. What exactly is a bionatural medicine all about?
Okay. Bio, as you've already mentioned, is all about the study of biochemistry of our cells. It's all about research into why do we get sick in the first place. It's all about bionatural, to see how we can use the body to produce regenerative capability to heal itself. It's all about understanding the body composition. Yeah, we're made up of over 75 trillion cells. We have the arteries. We have all the different body systems, how they all interrelate and strategically interdependent. To see what actually affects the food, that pain at the impact can be felt in the brain or in the arm. And so this is what bio is all about. It's a natural system of identifying what could be happening in our body and a natural system of providing intervention at the same time. Let me just make this clear. This is not about we are against allopathic intervention. What that means, orthodox, Western-based intervention. No, we're not. We are very much in favor of the orthodox way of medical practices. Why do we say that? Well, yes, the system is dated. It needs to be revamped. It needs to be up to date, to be upgraded. The doctors and other healthcare professionals like nurses are overworked, and they need to be provided with the right tools for them to be able to do better, and they can work with leisure. Average lifespan of a doctor's working life is about 18 hours a day, if not more. And that's crazy. Now, let's look into what the allopathic medicine, that's orthodox Western-based medicine, where you send students to universities, they go and learn medical studies. Over the years, particularly in the last 20, 30 years, medical researchers have produced significant amount of how our body functions. Diagnostic analysis has been absolutely amazing through the allopathy studies. Intervention has been good, particularly for short-term intervention. They're able to identify symptoms and provide you with antibiotics or paracetamol. You're having malaria. Okay, malaria is a symptom of, different kind of situation. And you're giving chloroquine. What does that chloroquine, what does it actually do to your body? Does the chloroquine actually heal your body? No. See, this is the bioscience. The chloroquine, what it does, it helps to optimize your cell. And once your cells are in a balanced state, in a medical term, it's called homeostatic state, guess what? Your immune capability will be enhanced. And you cannot easily be tackled or trapped down by microorganisms, which is the proboscis of the mosquitoes, what it does to our human body. So when the doctor gives you that particular chloroquine, paracetamol, it helps to liven up your cell's biology, your biochemistry, so that it can withstand that particular condition that your body is going through. This is what happens. So our body physiology, our body anatomy, we have been able to understand all of those fully as a result of clinical study, clinical research by doctors and other medical allied professionals. So a lot of great deal of work have been done by the allopathic study of our body. But where allopathy is actually need to be improved or to be looked into is the toxicity of some of the medical medication that we take. And you may notice, Anthony, and all those of you who are listening, the doctor will say, when you get a sachet of the medicine, they said to you that these are some of the side effects. But let's face it, how many of us actually read those side effects? We just want to get well, short-term solution, and that's all about it. So with bio, we are saying, yes, short-term solution is good. Understanding the whole physiology and anatomy of our body, they are all very good. But we need to understand what brings about preventative strategy. Why do we get sick in the first place? How do we get to the root cause of our condition? Let's get to the root cause of it and see if we can take out that root cause and we provide solution permanently to that particular medical condition. This is what bio natural is all about. Yes, he encourages a lot of allopathic intervention. He also encourages a lot of plant-based intervention, as you mentioned earlier, holistic. And I call it integrative. Integrative in the sense that it brings together plant-based medicine with allopathic-based intervention. But the plant-based need to be well measured. They need to be quantified. They need to be qualified. They need to go through some research processes. So we're not encouraging people just to go to the forest, put together leaves and all the rest of them, cook it up and drink as, unaudited, unquantified content, right? That's bad medicine. That's bad intervention. So, and this is another area whereby allopathic intervention has done a great deal of work, whereby a lot of clinical trial, a lot of measured in terms of laboratories and all the rest of them. So, just imagine right now, when you combine these two strands of approaches together, you get a bigger and better way of looking after the patient and the condition that they are going through.
Amazing. If you're based in Nigeria and we were having this conversation, you'd be termed a herbalist in some type of way. But on a side note, I want to get the correlation, or what exactly differentiates a herbal practitioner from from this particular conversation.
Very good. Herbalists or herbal practitioner, they are great in terms of what they do, in terms of their experiences. But what they're not lacking is a scientific approach of what they do. Right? And when they ask you to take a certain amount of medicine, have they quantified that medicine? What sort of clinical research has it gone through? Right? But it's quite amazing because our body is the one that actually heals itself, not the doctors, right? I will always say, there's a slogan that says, the doctor look after, but God heals. Right? That's what happens.
True that.
It is a body that brings about all of that. Some of the herbalists or herbal medicine, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, they work on the base of experience, which is good. But what they haven't got is what sort of clinical research have they gone through in order to come up with the intervention or the therapy that they are prescribed. Just to give you some example, during the time of the Egyptian time, that's back 3,000 years ago, right? There are so many ways that the Egyptian medical practices were indulging in things. Today, if you dare mention any of that sort, you're going to be arrested straight away, right? They use a cow dungeon to bring about bloodletting, they suck the blood out of your system, the Babylonians and the Greek, and so many things until modern times. In fact, 50 years ago, there's a lot of things that medical practitioners get involved in terms of blood transfusions and so forth. Do you know today there's so many medical practitioners who would not even allow a single blood to be infused into your system? And they can use alternative like plasma. They can use critical blood management, whereby the drop of blood is minimized through different ways and different interventions. So medical practices over time, over centuries, have actually metamorphed from one particular caterpillar state into a beautiful and productive butterfly stage. And this is what is actually happening. And today, technology is actually bringing a totally different dimension into it. That doctors are going to now have a sigh of relief in terms of how they look after the human body. So human body is complex, intricate, and having the intervention in the appropriate way is the way forward. I'm not discouraging people to go to their herbalist because a lot of them, they do a lot of great work. It's all about balance. And as one of my doctor friends said, he said, if you say it is placebo and it works, he said, okay, let's continue using the placebo that works. So if the herbalist is actually producing results, which a lot of them do, we encourage them. But what they actually need, and the new phase of plant-based practitioner, is to actually combine the study of a lot of Western-based intervention in terms of our body and analysis, understanding how the whole integration of the body system works. If they understand that, that's even going to enhance their practices. So it's all about education in the field of health and wellness. And that's what we stand for. We want to educate and bring together different parties from allopathic and from Chinese and from Ayurvedic and from other African-based intervention in terms of medicine. It's all about looking into what it works and we incorporate it into a practice.
Dr. Sonny, absolutely, you shared mind-blowing thoughts and analysis here in regards to the subject matter. And with what I can deduce so far, from what you've termed by natural medicine, you made us understand that it is a holistic approach, to health, healing, integrating biological science with natural therapies, if I'm so to say. But at the moment, we're going for a quick breather. Lagos, Nigeria, of course, to you, the listener, you're listening this morning to Bionatural Medicine with Dr. Sonny Ahonsi. And of course, this is the pilot episode of our broadcast today. And we'll go for that breather and return and continue with the rest of the programming. Don't go anywhere.
Wash FM presents School of Bionatural Medicine. Are you dealing with menopausal symptoms, chronic pain, or even sleepless nights? School of Bionatural Medicine is a radio program that brings the doctors right to your doorstep. We deal with issues from hormonal imbalances to arthritis, to skin conditions, to menopausal symptoms, to chronic pain management, and so much more. Tell us about your condition and we'll walk the journey with you step by step. Every Wednesday on Wash 94.9 FM from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can also connect with us today on Instagram at School of Bionatural, YouTube at School of Bionatural Medicine, X is at School of Bio and Med, TikTok at School of Bionatural Meds. You can visit our website www.schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk.
Let the Orinoco flow. Let me reach, let me beach, the shores of Tripoli. Let me say it, let me crush upon your shoulder. Let me reach, let me beach, for beyond the yellow sea.
11 here, Wash 94.9 FM. Once again, you're welcome to Bionatural Medicine this morning. And not to forget, I have joined with us live from the UK is Dr. Sonny Ahonsi, the CEO of School of Bionatural Medicine UK, which is also known as the London Bionatural Health and Wellness Clinic. Albeit based in the United Kingdom, their mission tends to reach, across the globe. And today, of course, we're here having this conversation in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, as a whole, West Africa, and we're so glad to bring this to you. And coming back to Dr. Sonny, let's come to know what the School of Bionatural Medicine is and what it stands for, just providing more clarity on the subject.
Well, as I mentioned before, when you talk about bio, it means something that is consistent and suitable for our body, something that is degradable, something that is transformative, something that is based on natural, non-toxic properties. This is what we're all about. We want people to have health and wellness, not just medical, not just authentic, but if authentic had to be applied at a certain point in time, so be it. If you have to use paracetamol in order to deal with malaria, so be it. But will it really rather not be better if we use preventative strategy in terms of preventing that malaria to occur in the first place? Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing? So let's just divide it into 3 geographies of operation. The School of Bionatural Medicine, we are in the field of research. Research on what? Well, research on new area of intervention, exploring new technology, and how all these can improve the healthcare. Evidence-based practice that improves health condition. Also that enhances and transforms the work of practitioners. Because doctors are not just meant to be providing paracetamol, dishing out medicine. They are meant to be doing a lot of research in terms of why and why and why. And this is what it's all about. So with Bionatural, we focus on research and analysis of what makes our body to function. Also, in terms of education, because the best way to actually increase the capacity for the industry is to create and produce more disciples, more trained professionals. And this is a strategy that was used for many, many centuries in Christianity, in Islamic, Judaism, whereby the fewer people at the top are able to train newer and newer disciples. So we have an educational program to not only keeping the Bionatural methodology within ourselves and the protocol, how it works, but we also roll out educational program in terms of health and wellness. So you can be based in Nigeria, you can be based in London, you can be based in Germany, Moscow. Again, as we talk about, technology brings about proximity. We educate you in terms of health and wellness and help you to set up your own clinic wherever you are. This is one of our entrepreneurship program, but that's something that we're going to discuss at a later date. We've already bringing a lot of medical doctors and nurses from all over the world, including Nigeria, over the last 4 or 5 years. We train them in their home country and we bring them over. So that educational program is ongoing every single week, and we're now upgrading it to a university level, whereby you are in your home country, you can be trained to become a healthcare practitioner at the master's level without the need for you to leave your home country. And we'll help you to set up a business also wherever you are in your own home country. Isn't that amazing?
Fantastic.
This is one of those things, one of those programs that we are involving education, education, education. The third area of our operation is consultation, consulting with any of our medical practitioners, whether they are traditional orthodox medical doctor or they are Chinese acupuncture, or the traditional herbalist, you might based in Rwanda, who's based in Nigeria, Ghana, who's based in the UK, and also Ayurvedic intervention. This is a the Indian-based approach. Now, why do we have to have the different strand? Why do we have to have an integrative approach? Well, the reason for that is this. If you take the analogy of a medical school, there are so many subjects, over 20 subjects you study over a period of 3-4 years, all right, in medical school. You do not have any medical school that has only one lecturer who teaches all the subjects. There has to be a variety of skills, knowledge, and different specialists who are involved in various ways of imparting those knowledge so that the student can develop a robust skill of what it's all about to be trained as a doctor. So, why do we have, therefore, one single intervention, even if it doesn't work, and patients are suffering in the process? You keep them giving them the paracetamol, and the paracetamol is not working. Then when they come back the next time, you increase the dose of that paracetamol. So you're not only damaging the liver and the pancreas, you're creating other difficulties and challenges for that particular patient. So for us, when we use one form of intervention, we see that it's not actually working, then we say, okay, why don't we try the other form of intervention? Obviously with the patient consent. You never do anything without the patient being consented to any sort of therapy. And you allow them to see the reason for it. You allow them to make their own research. Then let them make an informed decision in terms of how they want to be looked after. So one of our remit is to increase the choices that is open to the patient themselves so that they are able to see how they can be well looked after. What are the advantages of the well? Enormous amounts of advantages. Just to give you an example, very quick one. About 3 months ago, I met a client who was suffering from pancreas, cirrhosis, similar to very deep grave of cancer that he developed. And he's been going to the NHS doctor, National Health Service doctor, here in the UK for the last 7 years. And the situation was deteriorating and getting worse and worse. I said to the patient, okay, I have one of my Ayurvedic doctors who might be able to look into at the second set of opinion. Would you be willing to? He said to me, by all means. So I booked the appointment with the Ayurvedic doctor. We went there for a 3 hours analysis with all his medical reports, all his blood sample report and everything else. Again, I mentioned earlier the advantages of using the allopathy intervention. Do you know the report that he was provided at the hospital were used as a basis for the Ayurvedic doctor to be able to identify the pathway of what is actually happening in the patient's body, right? So if they're able to start the intervention from, he said, okay, first of all, we need to heighten the cells. So we need to be able to raise the cells so that the cells, we need to go for detoxification. That's the second part. So 8 weeks on, this patient, I was speaking to him yesterday, he was all over the moon. He went for a scan last week. He said the doctor could not find any sort of, any trace of cancer in him. after about 8 to 9 weeks of intervention. And this is what the traditional narrative have not been able to provide any solutions in the last 7 years. But 9 weeks of trying other options of medical intervention works perfectly, and for the patient, suitable for the patient. So he cannot stop singing the praises of the other doctors. Of course, we're grateful for the traditional doctors, the doctor who have actually done all the analysis, all the diagnosis and so forth, for us to be able to have a greater insight into what is actually happening. So this is where the balance of cooperation actually works. When you cooperate in terms of intervention in an integrated way, information from different sources, from different medical practices, then the patient is actually at a very, very positioned advantage. And in that position advantage, they're able to see relief to their conditions. So this is what we're all about. So research in terms of new area, in terms of technology intervention, education so that we're able to produce more and more doctors and other healthcare practitioners that can work globally in any part. And intervention and consultation that bring relief so that we're able to bring together different, this is what is called meta-analysis in the medical field. Meta-analysis using different viewpoints without the other knowing what the others are doing, then you bring them together, you harmonize them, and they're all speaking from the same song sheet. Isn't that really amazing? This is what we're all about. It's a complete, holistic healthcare system and intervention. And people already benefit enormously, and we believe that more and more people will benefit in the very distant future.
Absolutely. With everything you suggested and pointed out this morning, it's basically all encompassing. I appreciate your sharing that. But also I want to ask, because just like you mentioned, specialty comes into play, where, doctors who tend to be specialized in their dealings here and there. And then bringing that to here, I'm talking about how we want to, I want to understand something about the certain medical conditions that you cover, medical areas at which you cover. I think I lost you there for a few seconds, Dr. Sonny, but I'm happy I've been able to get your attention back. I know you're with us now. So I was trying to clarify something. I want to understand, certain areas of medical conditions that you cover that we probably were also going to be looking into, and on this particular, broadcast, or even generally when it comes to bionatural medicine. Are you with me, Doctor?
I'm here.
All right.
The question is?
Yes, I was asking the areas of medical conditions that you're covering. But if I may beg your pardon, I'm going to have to ensure that we connect with you shortly. We're having a little situation right here with connection. But coming back to you now, I believe that you can hear me now. I'm just going to reiterate the question. We're talking about, areas of medical conditions that you cover.
Okay. This is quite interesting. Anyone that has cells, we will cover their medical conditions. Because as one of my doctor friends, he said, when we were discussing at the medical school about cellular biology, we are made up of cells, and our health depends on the life of our cells. This actually, Anthony, this is a very, very new area in terms of reduction of disease, reduction of inflammatory, cardiovascular problem, digestive problem, and hormonal problem. All of these problems, they all depend on the life of our cells. If our cells are alive, and they are working to their optimum capacity, our immune system will be enhanced, our cardiovascular disorder will be reduced, inflammation will be reduced, all of that, and our body will be in a balanced state. if our cells are healthy, they're able to withstand the life that they need to live. They are a homeostatic state, a balanced state of health. No disease will attack us. No microorganism will attack us, because most of the diseases that we feel, whether it's cancer, whether it's arthritis, whether it is, they are caused, 80% are caused by microorganisms, bacteria and viruses. They are caused by that. But when our body reaches a homeostatic state, the body has the ability to be able to withstand and cope with these bacteria, put them under control in the process. So what are the areas of intervention? Going back to the question you asked, we have A to Z.
Interesting.
Intervention, which means we can cover any medical condition. It can be menopausal issues, andropausal issues, it can be arthritis, diabetes, it can be malaria, any men's health, women's health. Because don't forget, here we have pool of doctors from various strands of capabilities and various kinds of interventional approaches, various strands of different areas of medical condition. So we can literally handle any medical narrative that is affecting any part of our body. I'll give you another one, which is actually based on clinical research and trial over the last 5 years in the UK. And I made mention of it very briefly earlier. And it's called cellular biology. Cellular biochemistry.
Okay.
Yes. So it's based on the principle of our cells make up of our lives. You might have someone who is 30 years old, but if their cells are weak and feeble, and they will live a life of 60 years old with a lot of pain and aches. You may have somebody who has a life who is biologically 60, 70 years old, but their cells are working in a capacity or as if they are in their 20s or in their 30s. They're vibrant, they are not prone to sickness, and so forth. So all this depends on the nutrient, how we feed our body. In the UK, at Bath University, they've been able to come up with a cellular gel. They call it Redox Gold. Redox simply stands for reduction of oxidation. So, which means inflammatory influences and everything else are not there to affect the way our body functions, right? So, Redox, yeah, I'll be discussing this one a lot more. One of the gel they release is that this gel can handle any chronic pain in your body. Within a week or 2 or 3 of intervention, you can then see significant relief of your whole system. And I have gone through a lot of some of the chronic pain myself when I had a car accident back in 2019. When I started using this gel in the last year or so, my body has witnessed a transformative vitality. Now I can jump from one scale like a monkey to the other one, to the other tree, to the other tree, with the absence of that pain. And my life becomes more enriched. And this is where I've used a lot of painkillers in the past, that even the whole microorganism in my body mutated. And they're no longer afraid of the effect of medicine that you're taking. This is what actually happens. But our current Bionatural intervention of applying the Redox Gold, which is one of the recently researched area in technology and intervention of our body, bringing relief not just to me, but to thousands of patients that I have right now. And this is the name of the game. So going back to the question, we're just going to encourage everybody, tell us what this situation is, and we will try. We don't kill. We allow your body, we give you things, the nutrient of your body for your body to be able to transform and bring solution to your situation. That's what the body does. That's what God made the body to do. The body looks after itself, but it needs to be fed with the right nutrients. It needs to be in the right environment. It needs to be free from toxicity. This is why you have the Bionatural, and you see, medicine. So the Bionatural is a name that encompasses a natural way of intervention, free the body from toxicity and foreign agent, so that the body can take care of the work that it needs to do. Don't abuse it, look after it in a bio-systematic way.
All right, Dr. Sonny, we have just 5 minutes before we call it a day because we have the news global coming up by 12. And as we coast home, thank you so much for, your insight shared so far. To the listener, from next week, Wednesday, we would put up on the phone line so you get engaged, Dr. Sonny. But at this moment, we're trying to have, basic insight, having to have this basic foundation knowledge on as to this concept of bionatural medicine. And I want to know, how do you think people can contact or access you, for your services? And ordinarily, I was even going to ask but I think you've subtly mentioned it because you say something, doctor in your pocket, hospital in your home. And I've wanted, some form of clarity in regards to that. But because of our time, I want to know how people, can, access your services. Within 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah, very, very easy. We can be reached on info@School of Bionatural, as you already mentioned in your opening ad. And info@School of Bionatural. People can simply go to our website and just fill in any inquiry of any condition that they have, whether they're interested in our research program or education program or consultation program. info@schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk, or they can even send me email directly if they wish to do so, sunny@schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk, or our Facebook page, our TikTok page, our Instagram page. All of that are all available, and they are publicly available sets of information that people can draw from and into what we do in the process.
Okay, so Dr. Sonny, I don't know, any final thoughts, any parting words as we conclude on the broadcast this morning?
Well, like I said earlier, Anthony, is we are happy to support every single one, because your life depends on your cell. And how you look after those cells is what we're going to be discussing, to prevent and preserve your body from any sort of attack. This is what the School of Bionatural Medicine is all about. By bringing together all strands of medical intervention, whether it is orthodox Western base that produces a lot of analysis and detailed diagnosis in terms of what is actually happening, or using other options of medical intervention that can look into the root cause of the problem using plant-based, right? Because our body is natural, so it deserves natural intervention in the process. So this is what School of Bionatural is all about. We educate. All about what we do at School of Bionatural Medicine.
It's been refreshing, absolutely refreshing talking to you this morning, Dr. Sonny. I want to say a big thank you for, availing your time to us here in this part of the world. I know you can be a very busy man, but thank you so much for availing your time to do this. Of course, not just with Nigerians, but, but the world. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you once again.
Okay, Anthony. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, and of course to you, the listener, I want to say a big thank you for being a part of the broadcast. Yes, just as you've heard, Bionatural Medicine offers a lot, refreshing return to the roots of healing, honoring the body's wisdom, nature's intelligence, deep connection between our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Here on Bionatural Medicine, we're going to be learning more, way more, a lot more. Come next week, Wednesday. You don't want to miss it for anything. Dr. Sonia Hunts is also going to be here, ready to give out a lot of information as far as that's concerned, information, education as well. Anthony Dalmel is my name. This is where I get to sign off. Until next time, keep living and keep it here.